And we're live. We can add Artur Beterbiev to the list of guys that Canelo will not be fighting next. Let me close this. Let me straighten that out. Let me keep it a buck. I'm not a Canelo hater. I'm not a Canelo stan. It's all good. But Canelo will not be fighting Artur Beterbiev next. He will not be fighting Artur Beterbiev at 175 pounds. He might be fighting Billy, but he will not be fighting Artur Beterbiev. We're going to let some people pour in, get into all of this. But that was an excellent performance by Artur Beterbiev. Look, I think he's slowing down a little bit. Like, he's still plenty good at 38, almost 39 years old. He's still plenty good, and he still has some fights left in him. But I see him slowing down just a little bit. Like, I think at this point we can say Beterbiev is still very good. He's still pound for pound, but he's slipping just a little bit. He's getting just a little bit older. Is that crazy to say that because that was such a good performance? His footwork doesn't look as crisp. His legs don't look as crisp. His movement, he doesn't look as quick. He doesn't look bad. He looks fantastic. I'm not saying he looks bad or anything like that. I think he looks amazing. I'm spilling water all over the place. But I think he's slowing down just a little bit. But at the end of the day, I still think he beats everyone at 168. At 175. I think he definitely beats Bivol. How do we feel about that? Think he can beat Bivol? Yeah, I think Bivol is an excellent fighter. I just don't think Bivol over 12 rounds can keep Artur Beterbiev off of him. I think eventually Beterbiev's going to get him, crack him, break him down, stop him. And can we agree, can we acknowledge that one thing is certainly true? That Callum Smith is a good fighter for a Brit. Like, I'm not trying to throw shade at my British guys. I'm sure y'all are sleeping now, so you're not listening to this. But there's a level to this. Guys, please hit the like button. Please hit the like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a thought. Leave a comment. Let me know what y'all is thinking. But I want to get back to this. Like, British fighters are good, but we keep seeing this, Sonny Edwards and so on and so forth. They're not at the top level. And I'm not trying to throw shade at them. And I say this on their way up. And I say this about Callum Eubank all the time. If you can't sit down on your punches, if you can't commit to knocking someone out, you're going to be limited as a pro. You're not going to have great success at the highest level. When we talk about great British fighters, Carl Froch, Ricky Hatton, they would do that. But that's a rare breed. Most of these British fighters are looking at jab, looking to score, and then they get into monsters from Mexico, monsters from Eastern Europe, and they're looking to destroy you. They're looking to hurt you, looking to break your ribs and punish you. It's not the same thing. And I'm not throwing any shade at all at Callum Smith. He's a good fighter. But, like, he's not going to do well with seek and destroy guys. He didn't do well with Canelo. He made it to the distance, right? But Canelo is not the monster, the absolute brute force that Beterbiev is. I mean, look, guys, we can get into a potential Beterbiev versus Benavidez fight, which obviously is not going to happen. But does anyone really think Canelo can beat? I hope Matt, my co-host, joins me here. Does anyone really think that Canelo can beat Beterbiev? Really? I think Beterbiev is going to go down as one of the most underappreciated. And look, he doesn't have the best resume in the world. I fully understand that. I fully understand that his resume, I don't want to say it's incomplete because it's really good, but he's not going to have an all-time great resume. He's going to have a good resume. He's going to have a good resume, but he's not going to have an all-time great resume. And I think he's an all-time great fighter. I got a little late start into his career. He didn't turn pro till he was well into his 30s. But Beterbiev is a wrecking ball. Beterbiev, it's just from a talent perspective and what he can do. Like, if we're picking sides and we're picking teams, you're taking Beterbiev over almost any single light heavyweight who's ever lived, right? Like it's kind of like Tracy McGrady or Penny Hardaway. Like the prime was shortened, but at his peak, there's not many guys you're taking over. If we're choosing sides, if we're choosing light heavyweights, like you're taking Beterbiev at the top of that list. It's hard to get much better than Artur Beterbiev. And again, at 39, I do think he's slowing down a bit. I really, really do. I think he's not 100% of what he once was, but he's close enough. And even at 90% of where he was, he's still beating everyone in the division. And that's hats off. That's tipping the hat to Beterbiev. He's a Canadian fighter who's originally from Russia, so he doesn't really have this huge following, this huge, ethnic national following like a lot of fighters do. So he doesn't have the biggest fan base, but just from a talent perspective, this is one of the best light heavyweights you're ever going to see. No, I don't think he can beat Roy. I don't think he can beat Andre Ward. I don't think he can beat Michael Spinks. That's as far as really I can go back. But that's it, right? And when you look at his run at 75, it's going to get impressive. And I want to just put this out there. I want to talk about this and I want to know what y'all's thoughts on this is. Like, what are y'all's thoughts on this? Artur Beterbiev and David Benavidez. I know that Beterbiev is at 68, but that guy's huge. He could stay at 68 much longer. Now, we may miss this because, like I said, Beterbiev is 39, so it could never happen. It might miss it altogether and never get it. And I understand that that's a possibility. But that fight is like a head-on collision train wreck. Now, I would definitely pick Beterbiev to beat Benavidez. I absolutely would. But that is the fight. If I could make one fight for 2020, what is it, 2024? Forgot what year it is. I'm taking Beterbiev and Benavidez. Benavidez at 75 is even a better fight than Bivol. I understand Bivol's undisputed, so that's going to take precedence in a lot of people's eyes, and they're into that, and what have you, and that's cool. That's fine. I get it. I totally get it. But like, just from a fan's perspective, that fight's as good as it gets. That fight is absolutely as good as it gets. I'd be interested to see what y'all think of that fight. What you guys think of that potential fight, of a potential Benavidez versus a Beterbiev fight. Who'd you guys pick in that? Let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts, comments on that. I really, Ryan. I agree, Ryan. It ain't no Tanahara. It ain't no Tanahara. I mean, Tanahara is special. He's gifted. He's sharp as hell. He's got skills for days. He's got good speed. He works his angles. His feet are superb. Tanahara, 10 out of 10. Tanahara, Ryan, real talk, real question. Could Beterbiev last 3 rounds with my boy Hector? They call him El Finito. That means the finish. I think he can finish him inside 3 rounds. But I just hope Hector comes back and gets to a world title. You think Beterbiev can go 9? You think Beterbiev can go 9 with my boy? Beterbiev better have some whiskers on him because my boy's gonna crack him. Can we talk about how so far in 2024, well, including the New Year's Eve fight in Japan, the boxing bookie is 6-0. I'm 6-0 so far this year. I've got every bet I've made. I've hit Virgil Ortiz by stoppage, this fight, Jason Maloney. Everything I've hit. Everything I bet, I've hit. I'm 6-0 this year. 6-0. Ryan, you think Beterbiev beats Bivol? I think at one point we all thought Beterbiev would win. Bivol would win, but like I think people are changing their mind on that because Beterbiev is a wrecking ball. Like I said, he's not. Rafa, what's up, my man? Rafa, I hit everything this week, my man. Oh, I know. But this is Rafa. This is why you guys got to follow the Boxing Bookie. And like, if you have friends, if you got boys who you love, I want your boys to be heroes. I want them to be superheroes to their wives, their kids, their family. Share my advice with them. Lead them to my channel. Subscribe to my channel so that they can consistently make that second stream of income. Look, guys, you don't have to do the drop shipping. You don't have to do I don't know, whatever they got you guys doing on the internet. Y'all don't need to do that. Just follow the Boxing Bookie and bet everything the Boxing Bookie tells you to do. I always stay hot. I'm like Klay Thompson. I don't go cold. I may miss one here and there, but I don't go cold. And like, just feed me a rock. Feed me. Just feed me. I'm going to make you guys money consistently. Yeah, I don't think that, Brian, I agree with that. I don't think Bivol is great at moving backwards either. He moves laterally, and he can do some things, and he can circle, and he's a good fighter. But I just don't know how you keep this animal off of you. Beterbiev, he's going to shoot up my pound for pound list. I just did a pound for pound list like 2 weeks ago. I'm going to do another one in February, and he's going to shoot up that list because, like, Callum Smith is a guy that people said had a 50-50 chance of winning this fight. I never saw it that way. I never saw Callum Smith with a legitimate chance to win this fight. I never saw that. Right? I don't understand. Repeat after me, guys. Callum Smith is good for a British fighter. That means something. And I don't mean to disrespect Callum Smith. I saw Chris Algieri, who I respect. I really respect Chris Algieri's opinion, saying that this is a 50-50 fight. He can see Callum Smith. How? Like, what would someone tell me the blueprint for Callum Smith to win this fight? I put on Twitter right before the fight started. I see almost 0% chance Callum Smith can win this fight. He wasn't even competitive in it. Like, can we stop thinking? And I'm not trying to throw any shade to my British fighters. I love my British fans. I love British boxing fans. They love and wave their flag just like us Texans do. Right? I love them, especially Scottish fans too. Like, I mean that. But can we acknowledge that your fighters aren't Luke Campbell? They're not made for the highest level. They're good fighters. They got good skills, but these guys aren't made for the highest level. Smith needed to land the left hook with Arj. Yeah, but he couldn't. That's a good point, Rafa. That's a good point. His left hook was going to be his path to victory here. And that's what it said. Beterbiev is slowing down. I don't mean it in a bad way. He's 39. I just don't think he's as good as he was a couple of years ago, and he's hittable now. He's much more hittable now. He's much more plotting. And you can nail him with the left hook coming in, but Smith could land it. And Smith's got good power, unlike most British fighters. He's got good pop. So if he landed it, maybe he could do something with it, but it's just never really landed. I wanted to, again, not to pat myself on my back, but I'm running a YouTube channel here where I tell you how to bet on boxing, and I am 6-0 this year. So guys, give me a thumbs up, share my channel, tell your friends, join my Patreon. Everyone join my Patreon. If you join my Patreon, it's $5 a month. You get a free t-shirt. I'll give you my lock of the week. I'll break down any fight you want me to, right? I will give you, if you have a fight I haven't covered, that I haven't done a video on, let me know. I will do that video for you. I'm happy to do that for y'all. But let me know. Join my Patreon. It's in the description. It's $5 a month. It goes to a good cause. Let me know. Also, Jason Maloney. What did y'all think of Jason Maloney? I thought he won the fight. I thought anywhere from 114 to 116, 112 was a reasonable scorecard. I thought anything in that range was fair. I got a lot of people here hearing Sanchez won that fight. I don't think Sanchez won that fight. I really don't. Maybe I can work out a draw. It depends. If you want to give him the close rounds, I can get it even. But I personally thought Maloney won. Is that what you thought it was a draw? Okay, I can live with that. I wasn't scoring it super close because I thought Maloney would just eventually pull ahead and outclass him, and that never really happened. It was a competitive fight. Like, if you had a draw, I can live with that. But I would have a lot of people telling me that they thought Sanchez won, which I didn't see. I don't think it would have been a robbery or a travesty if Sanchez had won, but he definitely didn't win on my card. I could see a draw. I could see anywhere from 8-4 to 6-6. I think there were some close rounds, some hard rounds to score. But I can't see any more than 6'6". I can't see this going in favor of Sanchez. But I put on my video, I thought Sanchez was good. I just thought this was going to be a step too far. And he was even more competitive than I thought he was going to be. He's a good fighter. I like to see him again. Let's get him another opponent there at 118 or what have you. But he's a good fighter. He's good. What do we think of Jason Maloney? Usually with brothers, one is superior to the other. How do we feel about the Maloney brothers? Is there one Maloney brother that is far better than the other? I thought they were actually the same people. And then I met them. I thought it was just like, one guy who acted like two. But I met them in Oklahoma when Andrew fought Josh Franco. And you cannot tell them apart, man. They look exactly the same. How did the rest of y'all have that Maloney-Sanchez fight? Anyone impressed there? I didn't see anything on the undercard because my app got stupid, and I hate ESPN Plus. It's so confusing. Like, I got Disney Plus, and it's such an easy app to use. I don't understand why, owned by the same company, why ESPN Plus is such a garbage app to use, and Disney is such an easy app to use. Like, can you just make the ESPN app look like the Disney app? Same company. Like, can't we just use the same stencil here and make it the same? It's really, really annoying. Like, it's really, really annoying. But let's get into Billy too. Christian and Billy. I did this on my video. I did this on the video that I broke down the fight. I think Billy is a good fighter. I really do. What's up, Assad? You think it was a draw? Maloney, I had $500, so I had to cash out, losing $100. A lot of people tell me they thought the fight was a draw. I thought Maloney won. I can live with that. If you think it was a draw, you think it was a draw. And I'm getting a lot of that. That's like the most common opinion, was that the draw was the right scorecard. I can live with that. I can see it 114, 114. I could also see it a little wider. I could see it 117, 116, 112, or 115, 113. Those are the three scorecards I thought were reasonable for that fight. Murdoch has a good, yeah. See, I knew when Billy was going to stop him. Like, I knew that, like, Murdoch sucked enough where he was definitely going to get stopped. Right? Like, there's no way he could stand up for 10 rounds. Was it 10 or 12? I don't remember what it was scheduled for. Like, he's not making it that long. The only question was, the over-under, and I didn't touch it because I really didn't know how it was going to go. And the over-under was 5.5 according to DraftKings. And it went 6. And I was suspicious about this because after the 5th round, he got pummeled in the 5th round. I'm like, oh, they're going to stop this. And they send him back out again for the 6th. And the 6th, he did a little bit better in. Now, he still got a lot of big shots, but he had his best round probably in the 6th. But now remember, the over-under is 5.5, so you need to get to 5 and then halfway through the 6th. Once he finished the 6th, they stopped the fight. Ah, man. Like, it's like when you take the over and then the other team kicks a meaningless field. You take the under, and then a team kicks a meaningless field goal at the end of a football game to go over. It's like, why did you kick that? Like, you always go into victory formation, and like, but why did you kick the field goal here? You bet after 6? What book, Assad? What book did you use? Assad saying he lost. He bet after 6. The 7th round didn't start, so I got. Yeah. That sucks, man. Assad. I got 5.5 on a book. And I didn't know what to take, so I didn't touch it. If you watch my video, I didn't touch it on DraftKings. See, this is why y'all got to use DraftKings. DraftKings, you would have gotten 5.5. You have taken the over, and you would have made money on it. Sorry about that, man. You did 2 times on the KO? There you go. For the Billy fight? Rafa, you got 2 times on the Billy fight or on the Beterbiev fight? It's some good action today. So definitely had some good fights today. It's a good bet. See, this is what people just bet the same amount of money on every bet they take. That's not a good way to do it. Like, you got to be smart with things. Right? I come from a stockbroking background. Like, I was a stockbroker for years and years. Like, that's my background. That's how I made my money. That's how I was able to retire when I was 35. But like, it's called averaging down. Like, you just can't throw all your money on one bet. Like, you got to hedge your bet. You got to be smart with it. And I think betting times 2 on a stoppage in either the Billy fight or the Beterbiev fight, because it was like a certainty. And Billy and Beterbiev were gonna win by stoppage. So when you bet those 2 times, the little riskier bets that you're not so sure about, just do a 1 times bet. But for those, definitely take a 2 times bet. Like, at no point in that fight, I think either Murdoch or Smith were going to go the distance. It was like a matter of what? It's just betting the over-under at that point. Easy work. I am Chio. Saying, I bet on Beterbiev. Easy. I agree. It was easy money. It was definitely easy money. I am Chio. I agree. I thought the odds were a give me. And that's why when people are telling me, I think Beterbiev is going to win. I mean, I think Callum Smith's going to win. I was like, really? Like, or I think this is a 50-50 fight. Like, this is so not a 50-50 fight. This is so a one-sided beatdown. And I tweeted right before the fight started. I said there's almost no chance. I give Callum Smith almost a 0% chance. You can pull the tweet right before the fight started. Timestamp it. A 0% chance that Callum Smith wins this fight. And he was not even competitive in it. I'm not saying he sucks. I'm not saying he's trash. But he's not at Beterbiev's level. I understand he was a world champion, but Beterbiev is a killer. You know? Yeah, Murdoch put on a good fight. Artur Murdoch put on a good fight. Absolutely. One on Artur Beterbiev. I bet it all on Beterbiev easy. So what do you guys want to see me do next? I mean, next week again, we have Pro Box card. We have the Pro Box card. I'll get into that. And then we have the British card. We have the Michaela Mayer fight. So we got a little bit. We got a little bit next week. Who was it that told me last week in the live stream that they don't bet on women's boxing because it's too unpredictable? I kind of agree with that. Like the Natasha Jonas fight with Michaela Mayer, I'm not going to do that fight because I feel that like it's a little bit. Yeah, Jeffers is going to win. Rafa. Let me get into this. Rafa, I definitely think Mark Jeffers is going to win. And not because I think Mark Jeffers is a next level great talent or anything like that. I think Jeffers is going to win because he's okay. Like he's fun. He's a British fighter. Fundamentally, he's good. He can fight in all 3 ranges, right? I just think what's his name? Jermaine Brown is awful. Like I think Jermaine Brown is absolutely horrendous and terrible. Like he's kind of tall and long. He's got a little bit of speed, but he's so bad. He's so sloppy. He's so wide open. He falls all over himself. He doesn't really move and use the ring well. He's willing to trade in. He has absolutely no pop. I just think like for Jeffers, who's not bad, he's just not good. I think Jeffers will definitely win that fight. If you can find a prop on it, I would take him on points. I don't think Jeffers is going to knock him out. The other guy on the card, though, Aaron McKenna. There's something to him. There's something to that kid. I'm not saying he's going to be a world champion. I'm not saying he's a world beater. Aaron McKenna, I would definitely bet on him. And I would absolutely bet on McKenna, and I would absolutely bet on Jeffers. But Aaron McKenna, I would say, is a pretty good prospect. And I would definitely keep my eyes open on Aaron McKenna to do big things in the future. Mark Jeffers, no, domestic level guy. If he ever got in a ring with a hitter from the U.S. or Mexico or something like that, he's going to get demolished. But he's not a bad fighter. You know, he could go win a British title or something like that. Like, he's got talent. He's got good fundamentals. He's a decent fighter. He's a little bit easy to hit. Guys, hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. Like and subscribe if you hadn't. Billy was minus 270 for the KO, so I made about $75. Yeah. Again, I know everyone wants to get rich on every bet they make, but it's not going to happen, right? Like Billy's a big favorite because he's good. But just take the money. It's easy. Betting in Billy is not a gamble. It's not a risk. All right, like, and Billy's going to win the fight by knockout. Rafa, what book did you use? What book did you use? I don't gamble anymore, Rafa. So I'm just giving you guys advice. I had a major gambling problem for years, but it's a passion of mine, and I wanted to help you guys do it. Let me read some of these. Do parlay bets. Ryan, I already did. Like, I covered all of like the fights on next week's card. I did. Jeff. I just didn't do the main event. I don't think I'm gonna. But we gotta do some parlays. Who do you guys like? Who do y'all like in that? You use FanDuel? Rafa, and it's cool. Like, I don't care what book you use, but is there a reason why you use FanDuel over DraftKings? Because I always do my shows. I always use draft. I don't care what y'all use, but I always use DraftKings. I'm just wondering, is there a reason why you use FanDuel over DraftKings? I'm gonna get to that in a minute, Ryan. Define major. Hector Tanahara level. All right, like that. That's how I would define major. It's Hector Tanahara level, Ryan. Let me pull this up because this is what I want to get into. Yeah, right. I would definitely do that. Like, I definitely think Aaron McKenna and Mark Jeffers are absolutely going to win. I don't know if you guys have listened to those videos, but I have them both out. I did videos on both those fights. I definitely think that McKenna and Jeffers are definitely going to win. I would do that. I think that's fairly easy, fairly certain, especially McKenna. McKenna is good. Mark Jeffers, I don't think he sucks. He's just way better than Jermaine Brown. Like, I think Jermaine Brown is horrible. And then what's it, Zach Chile? And Zach Chile only has like one loss or two losses. Like, how is this possible? I feel like Zach Chile's lost to every single fighter in the world. I want to do this one. Rafa says, I use both sometimes. Better odds on one or the other. Also, different fight props. Okay. I just like the layout, and I like the book with DraftKings I like better. But you're right. Sometimes FanDuel offers you better props. That's true. Like, there's advantages to FanDuel. I just personally like DraftKings. Bet online. What do you guys use? I know there's a ton of books now. Does anyone ever do this underdog thing? Anyone know how underdog fantasy works? They have boxing on it at all? Like, I know that you can combine sports and you can do weird things. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Would you guys? I'm using DraftKings now, but if you'd rather me use FanDuel, I'm fine with FanDuel. Would you rather me use FanDuel in the future? Put it in the money. Put it in the money line. Put it in the comment below. I don't care. I just like it. Just a habit thing with DraftKings. Does anyone use Underdog Fantasy though? Does anyone know what that's all about? I've never even looked at it, but I see all these ads for it. Ryan, you like Mayer? Kind of. Like, I feel like she figured some things out at the end of the last fight. I don't know though. I personally met Mikkel Mayer, and like, here's my like, impression that I got from Mikkel Mayer. She's mean to the waitress. Like, it was the Josh Franco, Andrew Maloney fight, and it was her and what's the other girl? Christina Poncher, and it was the undercard, and it was the first ever all women's tandem. And I was trying to interview him, talk to him about it. And Poncher was sweet as could be, super nice. And Mikkel Mayer was like, she was just like unpleasant and like didn't want to talk to you and thought she was more special. I I didn't get cool vibes from Mikkel Mayer. So I don't know. I personally don't like Mikkel Mayer. and I wanted her to lose. Although I think this is a 50-50 fight. She could win. She definitely could win. I'll be rooting and sorry about that. Yeah, I'll be rooting for Michaela Mayer. I mean, I'll be rooting for Natasha Jonas. I will be. But I definitely think Michaela Mayer could win the fight. And then I'm pretty cool with Ginny Fuchs. And when we were in New Orleans on a what card was that? It was Regis and Zaria. Like then now that I'm cool with Ginny Fuchs and Michaela Mayer are like best friends. That now she can be pleasant to me. But when we were in Oklahoma and you didn't know who I was, you were gonna be rude to me. Like, don't talk to me. I want Michaela Mayer to get knocked out. I've always did. I wanted her to lose. Yeah. Where is Ryan? You're right. She seems like that type. I'm not trying to be stereotypical here, but where's Michaela Mayer from? She's from the Northeast. She's definitely gave me like Northeast vibes. Like I'm not going to be friendly to you at all, and not like Northeast New York or Rhode Island or New Jersey, like old school Italian Nona. Like don't talk to me on the subway type people. Like don't look at me, don't talk to me. Like those type people. Look at your feet. And just like she was so unfriendly. What do we got here? Both are good DraftKings. DraftKings is fun. Come on. Who do I got if Virgil fights Zoo? You know what happens. My boy. Virgil's my boy. You know what happens when you mess with Texas. You know what happens when you mess with Texas. It doesn't end well. It does not end well when you mess with Texas. Ask Sonny Edwards. Obviously, I got Verge. Although that's a great fight. Like that's an amazing fight. I really want Verge to win that fight and then fight Jamel, but I'm sure Jamel's going to 160. If Virgil fought Jamel, who would y'all pick? I know everyone hates Jamel right now. Let's see. Inori. What's your opinion on Munguia versus Ryder? He's the next part of my parlay. Okay. I definitely think Munguia is going to win. I haven't done that video yet. I can do that soon. I should. I agree. I think Munguia is going to win. Ryder's damn is good at this. He's been in a lot of wars. You know, he's made some good money and good for him. I heard Munguia fights. I heard Canelo fights Munguia in May. Munguia points late stoppage. I would take Munguia by late stoppage. Although Ryder's chin his chin's really good. I would probably take the over. I would definitely take Munguia to win. I'm going to have to go back and watch a little bit more Ryder just to refresh myself a little bit. But I would pick Munguia to win. Stoppage, late stoppage. I feel like a late stoppage is probably what's going to happen. But like, would you really be shocked if Ryder took a beating and carried it into the 12th round and finished the fight? It wouldn't shock me. But my gut, like my first initial instinct, is telling me Munguia 10th round TKO. Oh, and I want to give a shout out to my co-host Matt Hunter. And I got the text to prove it. Matt Hunter picked Beterbiev by 7th round TKO. I got the text to prove it. I got the receipts. Ryder beats Munguia, says Ryan. Right. Points or stoppage? Guys, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. I'm interested in what Ryan says. I want to know Ryder beats him on points. Okay. I mean, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. But haven't we learned that a good British fighter is different than a good fighter? Like, there's different level. I don't think Munguia is great either. I wouldn't like be shocked if Ryder would win, but I would definitely pick Munguia. You know, Ryan, this is a good point. This is why I got to go back and watch more Ryder. Ryan says, I think Munguia is going to run for his life when he finds he can't fight Ryder on the inside. It's a fair point, Ryan. You make a good point. So we'll go all 12. Here's my concern though. Like Munguia running, how fast is Munguia run? You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, Floyd Mayweather, he is not. Like, how fast is that guy really going to run? Like, where's he going? He's just a slow, plodding guy. If he runs, he may get tagged. Ryder on points. What does everybody else agree with that? Disagree? I'm leaning. I'm going to take Munguia, but Ryan makes a good point. Ryan makes a good point. I've seen him running against Hogan and Derevchenko. He's an Olympic level. Not the Derevchenko fight, but the Hogan fight was bad. Like, he lost that fight. Hogan got that fight against Jamal Charlo next. That was Barclays Center in December 9th of 2019. And people say, "Oh, Hogan's pretty good," and Jamal Charlo showed us no, he wasn't pretty good. Munguia was pretty bad. I think that was 4 or 5 years ago. I think Munguia has improved since then. I do. I think Munguia is a better fighter now than he was in 2019 when he fought Hogan. I thought Hogan definitely won that fight. That was a travesty of a decision, if I remember correctly, which I do. I want to ask this question. Does anyone think that Canelo would fight Beterbiev? Would Canelo consider fighting Beterbiev? And if he did, does anyone think Canelo could beat Beterbiev? Because I don't. Like I said when we kicked off, you can put Beterbiev on the list of people Canelo will not fight next. He can be on that list with Benavidez. He may fight Munguia. And I'm not hating on Canelo. I'm just saying Canelo is not fighting Beterbiev next. That ain't going to happen. Canelo's not fighting Benavidez next. Not going to happen. So he's not fighting Beterbiev or Benavidez next. But if he did fight Beterbiev next, anyone taking Canelo in that fight? No, right? And I would take Canelo to beat Benavidez, but I pick everyone to beat Benavidez. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Inori Chan says absolutely not as far as Canelo beating Bivol. Yeah, I think Bivol would wreck him. Absolutely wreck him. And that's why he won't take the fight. And look, to be fair, why take that risk if you're Canelo, right? If Bivol beats, if Beterbiev beats Bivol and it's for undisputed, maybe take the risk. But right now, you're not beating Beterbiev. It's not worth the risk. Like, just go fight Munguia and then go fight Jamal Charlo and maybe call it a career, I guess. I don't know. And look, Canelo's had a first ballot Hall of Fame career. I think he's an all-time great fighter. He's absolutely not the best Mexican fighter of all time. That is absolutely ridiculous. There's a 0% chance that Canelo Alvarez, who I don't mind, I'm not a Canelo hater, but you're telling me he's better than Marco Antonio Barrera? Come on. Let's stop that. Clearly, he's not. So if he's not better than Marco Antonio Barrera, we haven't even gotten to Chavez yet. So he's not the best Mexican fighter of all time. Yeah, and look, Inori, you think Benavidez beats Canelo at this stage of their career? The longer he waits, the worse it will be for Canelo as Benavidez is in his prime. No, I agree. But I think right now, I think there's still enough left. I still think Canelo has enough hand speed and enough footwork that right now, if they fought next, Canelo could beat Benavidez. But if they wait much longer and Benavidez gets even more man strength and Canelo gets even older, yeah, that could change. But if they fought right now, I think Benavidez is flawed enough and Canelo is smart enough that Canelo could win that fight. But you don't got to worry about it. He ain't going to fight him. So you don't got to worry about it. Does anyone really think he's fighting the Mexican monster next? Did Canelo already say he's not going to fight Mexican dudes? Didn't he say that? Like, and I'm not throwing shade at Canelo, but like if Floyd Mayweather did in 2010, 2012, when he was at the tail end of his peak, if he did what Canelo was doing right now with hand selecting these opponents like that, y'all would have killed him. Y'all would have destroyed him and said he was all types of ducking, all types of scared, all types of running. Canelo doesn't get the hate like that. He does from some people, but not the mass amount of hate that Floyd got. And I would say Floyd beat more great fighters than Canelo. Canelo makes more entertaining fights, and he's done good work. And I'm not degrading Canelo, but like, who beat more great fighters, Floyd or Canelo? Floyd. Who beat more great fighters, Canelo or Marco Antonio Barrera? Barrera. But let me ask you this, Nori Chan. It won't be till 25, 26. At that point, I would now shift to your thinking where Canelo can't beat Benavidez. If he can't beat him, do you think like he'll fight him when he's older? Like at that point, to me, now the fight becomes less likely because now he can't beat him. So why would he fight? You know what I'm saying? If he's scared of him now, why would he fight him a year or two later when Benavidez is better and Canelo is worse? Like, we forget that. What is Benavidez? 25, 26? Benavidez is just starting to hit his physical prime, 25, 26, 27, 28, like your best years. He's just entering that. Canelo is 33, 34. He's getting worse and worse every fight. He's getting older and older. So, like, I don't think we're going to get that fight because if we don't get it now, well, like, go back to 2013 when Canelo fought Floyd. If you didn't get it at that time and Floyd kept getting older, and Canelo kept getting better, Floyd wasn't going to fight him. It wasn't going to happen, right? So that fight had to happen at one of two stages. When Floyd was past his prime and Canelo was in his, or when Floyd was at the end of his prime and Canelo hadn't hit his yet. And Floyd was the bigger name. Floyd was the bigger draw. So Floyd got to dictate when that fight happened. And he got it when I'm at the end of my prime and you're not in yours yet. And I think if Canelo versus Benavidez is going to happen, it's going to happen on Canelo's terms, which means it's going to happen now. But Canelo's already scared to fight him, so we're not going to get it. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think the longer this gets pushed out, like, it's going to marinate and we're going to make it. I just think Canelo's like, nah, I'm going to chill on that in my old age. And then, like, his point is like, I'm past my prime, I'm old, and you want me to fight this guy? I'm not taking that fight. And I get it, and it sucks for Benavidez, but like, Canelo's the biggest draw in the sport. He can go fight his grandma and he'll make $100 million. No, like, it's a good point. Like, there's nobody else for Canelo to fight. Only the person I think, yeah. I mean, but Canelo's still the biggest draw. He's still the name. So if he, like you said, if he fights Munguia, people will buy it. If he fights Billy, people will buy it, right? Like, now, he wouldn't make as much money as a Benavidez fight because a Benavidez fight would be huge. But if he fights Billy, he'll make money. He'll make millions. If he fights, you know what I'm saying? He'll still make money. If he fights Munguia, he'll make money. If he fights Dennis Hogan, he'll make money. He's not going to make as much, but he's also not going to get beat down. So, there's a give and a take in everything. After he fights Munguia, who else is left? Jamal Charlo. I know you guys don't love that, and that's fair enough. But who's left? Jamal Charlo. And then after that, the guy's made hundreds of millions of dollars. He's in his mid-30s. We might be seeing the end of Canelo. He's not fighting Benavidez. He's not fighting David Morrell. He's not fighting Artur Beterbiev. Could he rematch with Bivol? He might could. He might could rematch with Bivol. I wouldn't rule that out. Like, is that, Bivol maybe? Bivol is a great fighter. He's got a lot of skills. He's a really good technician, but he's not a killer. He's not a killer like Beterbiev. He's not a killer, like Benavidez. So I think, like, how it might go is Munguia, Charlo, and then possibly Bivol again. I got to look at the landscape of 68 and 75, but that's kind of my gut instinct there. Yeah, it'd be crazy, man. Like, Canelo versus Billy would be a crazy, crazy fight, man. Um, and Billy doesn't jab, so I think Canelo would try to control the fight from the mid range, right? And Billy would get in. And then fight on the inside, it would be nuts on the inside. But Canelo's so much fundamentally better. He's so much harder to hit. And Canelo would win that. But it would be fun while it lasted. And I was talking to someone on Twitter about that. Yes. Canelo versus and Billy is a fun fight while it lasts. Does anyone really question who's going to win that fight? Obviously, and Billy is going to win. I want to pull up this one. Inori Chan says, anything to stay away from Benavidez. And this is what I said about Floyd with Paul Williams. Oh, he ain't going to fight Paul Williams. He ain't going to do that. No, that's one risk not worth taking, right? And, Paul Williams had a fight of the year where he beat Margarito, and Floyd was scared of Margarito. And then Paul Williams out Margarito. And, like, it was in the Punch Bowl. It's like, 19, I'm sorry, it was like, what year was that? Like 2006? What year was that? 2009? This is years ago. Paul Williams sat in and out Margarito. And it's like, yeah, Floyd ain't fighting that guy. Floyd ain't going to fight Paul Williams at all. Ever. Never again. Like, never. No. Not even once. Not even sparring. And then, tragically, Paul Williams was about to start camp to fight Canelo when he got in a motorcycle accident. I got to meet Paul Williams. It was Jared Herford at J-Rock in the D.C. area. Paul Williams was at that fight. He was working someone's corner that was on the undercard. I got to meet Paul Williams, get to talk to him. Good dude, man. Good dude. I was a big Paul Williams fan. Big Paul the Punisher Williams. Yeah, Ryan. Ryan's on the money. Paul the Punisher Williams is one of the most underrated fighters. And that's why Floyd didn't want to fight him. And I'm not disrespecting Floyd. And it's the same thing I say. When you're the A side by so much, you get to pick who you want to fight, right? Like, you get to pick who you want to fight. And Floyd was not about to pick Paul Williams. And Canelo's not about to pick Benavidez. He's not about to pick Beterbiev. He's going to chill on Beterbiev. He's going to chill on Benavidez like Floyd chilled on Paul Williams. Floyd's dad, Floyd Sr., said that Paul Williams might be too much for his son. Remember, Paul was a 6'3", welterweight who threw 100 punches around. He was just on you, right? Like, Floyd would not be able to keep him off him because, like, as soon as you get him off of you, he's right back on your chest, just wailing away, right? Like, Paul Williams, they say, didn't fight tall, but he fought long, right? Because you couldn't get away from him. Because he just takes 2 steps and he's right back on you again, and you can't get away from him. And if Floyd couldn't get away from him, what's Floyd going to sit in and bang with Paul Williams? Like, that was the one fight, just stylistically. I don't think Floyd could have won. Just like I don't see really any way Canelo can beat Beterbiev. I don't really, like. There was no really way that Floyd was going to beat Paul Williams. I'm not saying Paul Williams was better. I'm saying styles make fights. And Paul Williams was an animal, right? So unless you can tag him like Sergio Martinez did, how are you really beating him? How's a little guy really beating him? Laura was bigger, and Paul Williams got the decision over Laura, which was totally bogus. But Laura was bigger. He was a huge 154. He's a 60 fighting at 54. Floyd was a 140 or a 135 fighting at 147, right? Like, he was really small, but you know what I'm saying? So when you go back and you look at Pretty Boy Floyd, who tore it up at 140 and 135, the 147 Floyd, even the 154 Floyd that beat Canelo and beat Cotto, he's not much bigger. Like, he was very undersized. And that's a credit to Floyd, right? He was able to go up those weight classes. When he fought De La Hoya and he fought Cotto, he weighed 150 pounds. He was never a 154 pounder. He really wasn't a welterweight. He was really a junior, either lightweight or junior welterweight. He's a 135, 140 pounds, where he should have been. But he didn't like cutting weight, and the money was at 47 and 54, so those are the fights he took. I'm glad I got boxing heads in here. Rafa's right. Paul Williams Was a volume punch machine. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I love Paul Williams. I mean, we missed Paul Williams. I wish there was another Paul Williams in here. 6'3", welterweight with tremendous power, who just fired 100 punches around, just on you, like kind of like Brandon Figueroa, but a welterweight, right? I mean, I love Paul Williams. It's a shame what happened to Paul Williams. I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon, guys. Anything else you want to talk about? Guys, please like and subscribe. Please share. Please join my Patreon. Join my Patreon. It's just $5 a month. You get a free t-shirt. I send you a t-shirt. And you get a bunch of other perks, too. You get my lock of the week so that we can keep making money. And I want to remind you guys, I am 6-0 this year. I am 6-0 this year. I have not missed yet this year. Yeah. Wasn't Paul a southpaw? Yeah, it was. 6'3" southpaw welterweight who threw 100 punches around and had tremendous power. I mean, yeah, you can sit there and hit Paul Williams, but Paul Williams was fighting at 47, and then he went to 54 because he couldn't get the fight, and then he went to 60 and beat Sergio Martinez. Like, people just remember the rematch in which Paul Williams got tagged, and yes, you can hit Paul Williams. Like, it wasn't hard to hit. But he beat Sergio in the first fight in a great fight. It was like 2009, I want to say. In a fight of the year type fight, he beat Sergio Martinez. Man, I miss Paul Williams. I really miss Paul Williams. I really do. He's one of my favorite fighters, man. Paul Punisher Williams. There's no one like that right now. The welterweight division, the junior middleweight division, they need another Paul Williams. They need another Paul Williams. So I'll probably be back on Wednesday. I know there's that Pro Box card. I'll probably do a live reaction to that Pro Box card as well. We'll break that down. We'll get into that. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up now. I appreciate all of you guys. Appreciate you guys joining in. I appreciate you spending the last 52 minutes with me. Appreciate y'all. It's almost midnight, so it's January 13th, 2024. From Texas to the world, thank you, and God bless.